imperial slab stroked.
It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Tokwe Makodige. How are you doing?
I'm very good.
How was your weekend?
Fun and restful. On Friday, I was in Ibadan. Saturday, I was back in Lagos. Sunday, I rested. But I experienced such traffic coming back to Lagos on Saturday that at first I was getting cranky, but I reminded myself that it was a short-term hardship because of the long-term advantage. Because they are fixing the roads, there will be traffic. And many people are unwilling to bear the hardship of traffic while waiting for the roads to be fixed. Everywhere they fix roads, Nigerians, there will be traffic. Let us understand and bear with them. Many times the traffic gets worse because we are fighting each other and not waiting our turns. But the traffic was really
I went
bad.
to Belkuta. It wasn't so bad. Yes, so there's that gridlock.
From Kara.
Yeah, of course, from Kara all the way down.
My sisters,
so there's that
my Muslim
gridlock.
sisters, they are buying ram.
Yeah, and it collapses into 2 lanes. Yeah, but I mean, it was about 20, 30 minutes delay.
Oh, it was about 1 hour delay
for
from, yes, when I was coming. It was really
I went to
bad.
Belkuta over the weekend also.
1 hour is not really bad.
Sorry.
How are you doing, Nima?
I spent
How was your
1
weekend?
hour plus just from the trade February to get down, get into Satellite Town on Friday. And I done the same at Mautu. Just
Story of our lives.
So 1 hour plus, if I calculate it into my file, I always factor it in every day.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. Tomorrow it makes it 2 years my father passed. And a month my father-in-law passed.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I'm very deeply reflective all weekend. My sister-in-law, none of us, just grateful to God. And my father always precedes the Ileya. And so, just so many emotions. My sister visited yesterday. Thank you, Kiki, and her husband, and just so much reflection.
Right.
But tomorrow also, I'll be speaking at an event organized by the Office of the First Lady of Lagos State on the theme, I think, women nurturing lives to secure a better future. So, Madam will speak.
Fantastic. Well done. Well done.
Well done.
How are you doing, Mariam?
I'm fine. I'm doing great. Just this morning on my way, there was like serious traffic, and when I got to the source of traffic, it was a lorry that had upturned all its whatever on the road, and many people were, of course, it's morning time. People are trying to get to work, so some people were trying to, go back, and I was just wondering. So last month came and I got into a particular woman's car. Many cars had gone ahead of her, but when it was her turn, they sat in her car, And I was just wondering, when there is a problem like that, shouldn't LASMA also create like an alternative that people can go, instead of using that period to punish people? I mean, it's just the common sense thing to do, I feel, because everybody's either rushing to work or to school, and that thing is going to take a while before it's evacuated. So LASMA should be there to create even better traffic flow than
Catch somebody.
Yeah, it's about catching. It's about...
Most times when they do that, it's one of those errand officers, because something like that happened on that Mautu road. And my people were stuck. It would have been daybreak the next day. And some people did one way, and they caught all the cars. And when I consulted the person in charge of LASMA, they said that is not a legitimate duty. Their duty is to help people out of that situation because of robbery. And that was what they were supposed to do. And most people, the moment I called them, they responded like that. So most times like that is not the face of their...
That's cool.
Just
Right, so my weekend was extremely busy. I mean, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I was on party. So it's Friday afternoon, Stephanie Bosari's mother's stepson was good to go support her. Many media people was there to just support her. Friday evening was this girl's birthday, Dolapo Adir. I know as Dolapo Adilabu because she's married. Her husband has one be using his own name. But yeah, so Dayo's birthday on Friday. Then Saturday, went to see Otumba
Otumba was 60th. Happy birthday, Otumba.
He's a friend of the house. He's a spokesperson for the discos.
Yes.
And he was 60 on Saturday, so I went there to celebrate with him.
Nice.
Happy birthday to...
And I couldn't make it.
So I didn't even know it was Bamofin. I didn't know that, of Egbaland. I didn't know that. I knew that on Saturday. So congratulations to you. And then Sunday, they had a couple's dinner in church.
Oh.
Yeah, my Oga and I were panelists. In fact,
that should be interesting.
As usual.
You have videos on your page. That's what
he comforted himself.
Oh,
we are amongst other panelists. So we're not defocused. So which is good. It was nice. It was nice.
I think we should start talking about marriage. All
right, let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. PDP crisis article forecloses discussion on office sharing. 70,000 ghost workers, MDA directors face ICPC probe. Duty on imported pre-2013 vehicles rises by 120%. 18 die in the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway night accident. Acting Accountant General replaced. 1.4 trillion naira recovered from debtors, says AMCON. World Bank's $1 billion COVID-19 fund for poor nations, and 2 Catholic priests abducted in Edo. Okay, what are we starting with?
The duties. Nigerians, very few Nigerians can afford to buy brand new vehicles because it's really expensive. And right now, import duties on fairly used vehicles have gone extremely high, 120% on vehicles manufactured before 2013. So usually, where you get to pay 300,000 naira or 500,000 naira to bring as duty, you now pay 1 million to 1.3 as just duties on the vehicles. The officials say the government is protecting Nigeria from becoming a dumping ground for overaged vehicles by implementing this vehicle identification number. However, most common vehicles are your old models of Golf, Toyota Corolla, Toyota Matrix, and some other used vehicles that have become palliatives for Nigerians. And Nigerians are complaining. The chairman of the National Association of Government Approved Freight Forwarders, Mr. George Okafor, said the challenge is that cars from 2012 model downwards are still paying the duties of 2013. So I really want to understand what the government is trying to achieve. So the acting national president of Nigerian licensed custom officials has said that the VIN platform has made payment of duties vehicles huge, and the government should go through the Federal Ministry of Finance to review the policy for the favor of Nigerians. Please, we are begging. There are many young Nigerians that they are hoping to, they are saving up to buy that small Golf that they are thinking is now a dumping, Nigeria is a dumping ground for. We don't have options.
The painful part is that, importers are now diverting again to neighboring ports.
Yeah, so they now lose it.
Because of this inconsistent policies. So the World Bank says they have established what they call an establishment of $1 billion COVID-19 financial intermediary fund to finance critical investments in national, regional, and local or global levels. And they're targeting pandemic prevention, preparedness, and response in low and middle income countries around the world. These monies are donated by some major countries that include the United States, the European Union, Indonesia, Germany, the United Kingdom, Singapore, and the Gates Foundation.
Okay.
So I've got this story. So they are saying some assistant directors and their collaborators in ministries, departments, and agencies have been linked to what is called employment racketeering. And this is when they find a way to forge documents, sign documents that employ people who are not meant to be employed in these MDAs. And these people will be facing prosecution via the ICPC. So because of IPPIS, the federal government has been able to find out these 70,000 ghost workers as of now. They feel that the number is even much more than that as they continue their investigation. They said really it is the sole responsibility of the MDAs to recruit workers, and some of them have now abused their office by issuing out fake employment letters to people. And people would say, you know, those who are working in those departments or ministries would be like, we're so overwhelmed. And yet, you know, federal government is not doing anything, is not employing people. So they're wondering what has caused it. But IPPIS has opened this up, and that it has saved the federal government billions of naira. That's just from getting these 70,000 workers. And that very soon we'll see the names of those who are involved, the assistant directors and their collaborators who are involved, their names will be written out.
Okay, so the major headline, the crisis within PDP is hopefully we're trying to see what can happen, because Atiku, the flag bearer of PDP, should be back home this week to lead the reconciliation committee towards Wiki. If you recall the issue going on, because he had picked Governor Okowa as his running mate, has caused a lot of rancor within the party. And the chairman of the BOT, Jibrin, has advised him that he should go with ministers, other governors, to accompany him to go and see Wiki, because the truth is that Wiki obviously is recognized as a major component of the party, and the possibility that Governor Wiki or Ayofayashe and others leave the party is a huge threat to his presidential ambition. Here, Atiku also expressed his worry that he had actually had a meeting with Governor Wiki and Okowa before the selection was made, and they had a gentleman's agreement. So he was really, really upset there, and he was disappointed that Governor Wiki reneged on his agreement, that we agreed that, okay, whoever it is I pick, we accept it. But unfortunately, that happened. But either way, there was speculation, because they were reminding us that during Atiku's time, during MK Abiola's time, Atiku had stepped down. You know, where MKO picked King Dibe. So it's not cast in stone. At some point or the other, maybe after reconciliation, nobody said that, but maybe they're hoping that Okowa will step down and let's tell Wiki.
But it's interesting that if they had that agreement, it could possibly be just Nigerians talking, and Wiki's like,
the agreement
these Nigerians are talking so much about why I shouldn't have been the vice president, and he now decided to talk. No, sometimes it happens that way.
Wiki thought it would be the one, because the gentleman agreement said it could be any of them. And one person is thinking,
okay, so it was not defined. No, but the way Atiku is saying is that it was already agreed upon.
Let us move on to the punch, please.
Yes,
we can't spend everything on this show. We'll find the story somewhere else. PDP orders panel to beg Wiki. Okay, I took that story. Man sets estranged wife ablaze, burning woman grabs suspect, both die.
Wow.
Nigeria now like war zone, Methodist Archbishop laments. Gunmen abduct 2 Edo Catholic priests, 6 Enugu residents. ASU strike enters 140th day. Sarah others lampoon FG.
How sad.
You don't need gun for self-defense, Adeboye tells Christians. IOC's divestment threat to Nigeria's oil sector, says federal government. And years after controversy surrounds 300 billion textile revival fund. Okay,
let me take the human interest story. So a man named Ponle Adebanjo has been arrested. He set his estranged wife ablaze, and unfortunately she passed on. They said that they had been married 3 years. She was previously married before she met him, had 4 children. She met him the 3 years. She suffered physical domestic violence, and that's why she left the house. But you know, it got to a point that he was even reported to the police. So this was a case that was very much had been reported to the police. He insisted that there was no way she was going to leave without him. He had now gone to her house insisting that she should go back home, and it's either she lives with him or no other man will stay with her. He then found her in this room and set her ablaze. They said she grabbed onto him, you know, after he had set the room on fire, to make sure that he was with her while that fire was, was going off. The only thing is that she passed on and he lived, but obviously he also was affected by it. Neighbors came and intervened. That was how he was saved. And he's been handed over to the police station. You know, what's sad about this is that women do the right things. So in this case, she's in a domestic violence condition. She found her way out of that place, but he still followed her. They say he stalked her for a long time until he was able to do this. It's really sad. Somebody has to be able to protect the woman. You know.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bali, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still in Punch. Talk about the story.
The ASU story, really, really sad story. Serap was speaking up concerning the fact that ASU has still been on strike for the past 140 days. Today makes it 140 days that ASU has been on strike. Also, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, and non-academic staff of the Union of Education and other allied institutes, like everybody is on strike now. They are doing 68 days of being on strike. So the complaint is that it's sad that we've been unable to resolve the issues of underfunding and lack of appropriate funding and lack of compliance of governments to the agreement signed by the government with ASU. He mentioned how most of the people suffering this are children of the poor and average Nigerians, while the political class and people of the middle class and higher have their children in private universities and outside the country. The Deputy Director, Kolawole Oludare of SERAP, mentioned that inequality in education have a rolling effect. It will continue to affect every other area of our lives, that education is a right. And it is a right that enables human beings to demand other essential rights. And so it's important that we fund education and support education. They tried reaching out, Punch tried reaching out to the Minister for Labour, who christened himself as the Reconciliation Minister, but they weren't able to get any response from him, and the issues are a whole lot. It's just really sad that we're counting days like this on issues that can be resolved.
Honestly, it really is so sad. It's not a war-torn country, and yet universities have been shut for over 100 days. This makes sense.
The chief executive of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, Benga Komolafe, was speaking yesterday, saying that he had described the divestment by the international oil companies of Nigeria as a threat to the industry. And he said that this is an opportunity for local players to take advantage of these divestments. He said it is indeed the right time to look inwards in the sector to boost the capability of the local content in value addition and optimizing the development of the nation's hydrocarbon resources. So it was just, we already knew they were divesting. I mean, the five major players, I think it's Shell, Total, Chevron, ExxonMobil, and they're all divesting in a certain parts of the sector, and hopefully local players can begin to play in that sector. Moving on quickly now to Daily Sun. VP slot, Tinubu looks towards Northeast. Ohaneze gives Southeast governors marching orders on Ebubeagu. Again, gunmen abduct 2 Catholic priests in Edo. Fuel scarcity worsens in Abuja. Armed robbery suspects meet Waterloo in Delta gun duel. PDP crisis stakeholders shop for IU's replacement. Insurgents breeding future generation of terrorists, says commander. And Ariwoola group urges Buhari northern leaders to do something about insecurity. Okay, I was going to start with let's start with the major headline. So Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, initially many thought that he was going to be looking for his vice presidential candidate from the Northwest, and this is because many have argued that the Northwest carry about 39% of the votes that were cast at the last elections, and they have the block that he needs to win the elections. However, there are indications that he's looking the other way, and this is possibly because our current president and past president have been from the Northwest, and there are quite a number of cabinet members, many from the Northwest. They've been from Katsina State, and according to the stories in 2023 and 2011, Bello, Muhammad Masari, Aminu Tambuwa were all elected speakers of the House of Representatives from the Northwest. So the Northwest has actually had quite a number of people in various key roles. Even our current president is from the Northwest. So there's a possibility that Asiwaju is looking towards the Northeast, although governors in the Northwest are not very happy about it because they're insisting that they have the numbers if he wants to win these elections. However, the conversation is ongoing and is negotiating, consulting with them to make them see reason for him to go to the Northeast. We'll see how that goes because we've been going back and forth on who he's going to pick for his vice presidential candidate, but we'll see how the negotiations go on. Any other story in Sun?
Yes, 6 armed robbers met their Waterloo in Delta State. The DSP PRO, the PRO of police in Delta State, Mr. DSP Bright Edafe, gave the news. It happened in 2 different locations. The one in Warri, according to him, there was a distress call around Igugu Market / Old Welfare, and the police officers moved to the scene, and the hoodlums took to their heels, but the gallant officers went after them, in his words, and they were able to, in a fierce gun battle actually, were able to, they killed 5 of them. And then in another area, Asaba, one attack, one person, one of the armed robbers also got killed. So about 6 armed robbers got killed over the weekend, and we must applaud the police for the good work that they are doing in protecting our lives.
The theater commander of the counter-insurgency operation in the Northeast, Operation Hardin Kai, Major General Christopher Musa, said that about 60,000 combatants and non-combatant Boko Haram members have so far surrendered to the Nigerian army, and that he raised an issue of concern. He said that the way the Boko Haram keep producing children, it seems like, there's a deliberate intention to raise future terrorists. He said, when a woman puts to bed, she takes in almost 4 months later. They have over 30,000 children. And you can see that what we are building up is an implication that, they're building up future terrorists. They are deliberately procreating, multiplying towards their agenda. But I think this issue is something that is an intelligence issue and something that they should use to plan.
Yeah, so there's a story of the 2 Catholic priests in Edo State, Reverend Fathers Udo Peter and Philemon Obo of St. Patrick Catholic Church, Uromi, and St. Joseph's Retreat Center, Uboha, of the Catholic Diocese of Uromi. They were traveling from the Benin along the Benin-Auchi Road on Saturday, and they were kidnapped. And this is just a week after Reverend Father Christopher Odia was kidnapped and gruesomely murdered. The police are aware of this. They said that they have started a very aggressive and rigorous investigation to try and make sure that they find who these people are. His friends and family are saying, their friends and families are saying that these are just priests, they don't have money, you know, they are just serving God, and this is really disheartening that they would be, you know, targeted and kidnapped. And then concerning Father Christopher Odia, I think there's an update on his story. It was implied that the people who had murdered him were maybe random, they were his gardener or people that worked for him. But they said no, that this person was not someone that worked for he wasn't someone that was in the community or someone that worked for the father, but he has been arrested.
Okay, moving on quickly now to the point. Parties orchestrate defections of disgruntled opposition members. Despite hard times, investors stake 485.5 billion naira on the 54.27 shares in Q2. 8-year-old people crushed to death after school sent her home for 300 naira. And widening cracks in PDP as threat as Atiku's presidential ambition thickens. Government incompetence on insecurity beyond comprehension, says Ayo Adebanjo. You have the 8-year-old story.
Yes, I have it. So this young girl, the primary one people of Ndugwe Igbeagu in Izi local government area of Ebonyi State, Becky Agada, lost her life after she had been brought to school by her dad, who was surprised that, you know, after all bills had been paid, she was sent back home for a 300 naira for workbook to collect that money from her parents. And on her way back, along the Abakaleki Ogoja highway, she was hit by a hit-and-run vehicle and crushed to death. Her father is saying that, you know, this exposes that the school doesn't have proper plan because he doesn't understand why a child will be sent back. I think there was a time when a young girl went viral in Warri for being sent back for her own fees. I think what the schools should do is, you know, disallow parents from leaving the children originally when they bring them in the morning, rather than send a child on her own back home from school because of school fees.
Moving on quickly to Vanguard, really sad story. Vanguard, VP slot APC governors insist on colleague as compensation. Banditry terrorism, 2 ex-CDCs, Agua Ibrahim back. Recall of retired military officers. Fuel scarcity won't end soon, Nupeng warns. Christians don't need guns for self-defense, says Adeboye. Kidnappers live like kings inside forest along Ore Ijebu-Ode highway, says escaped victim. Police confirmed kidnap of 2 Catholic priests in Edo. Amechi promises to end Rivers APC crisis in weeks. 28 die in Ogunyobe auto crisis, and 2023, I'm offering Obi golden opportunity to be my VP, says Kwakonso. Okay.
So, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, General Overseer of Redeemed Christian Church of God, had to clarify his statement because plenty people were misquoting him, and he said that he never asked Christians to buy guns, and he said that he said this because people were quoting what he said, that fire for any attack on Christians, that he didn't ask Christians to buy guns, that Samson didn't use guns in the Bible, and that the Bible doesn't, that we don't fight with guns, that the core things Christians should do is to prevent people that can cause havoc from having access to the church. So he said, don't buy guns. You don't want to kill anybody. You just must make sure that unwanted visitors don't come into our churches. So don't go and buy guns. And he said this during the Holy Ghost service on July 2nd, which made Thanksgiving yesterday around. So that's simply what he said. And it was in response to what happened in the war and the killing there.
The Oga of Nupeng has said that fork scarcity is not going to end, and he said the basic factors that we already know, that because governments and oil producing states said rather than invest in refineries, considering that you have abundant crude in your states, you are investing in airports and all of those things. And so this issue that we have, this crisis that we have, is basically because we still buy finished products of crude from other countries, and because of importation and all of those other factors, will continue to suffer this scarcity that we are in presently.
Thank you.
Have a story? We have to run. There was a story concerning Kwakanso, the thing that he's going to offer him. He was just saying that that Peter Obi should be his own running mate because he has built the NNP. Like if he steps down from NNPP, that they've been building that structure for over 30 years. He can't just leave the NNPP party. It's better off for Peter Obi to be his vice president. However, Labour Party is saying no, thank you. That we are going to be rallying people around to support the Labour Party candidate for presidency. It's just an
Let's see how that goes.
Interesting time. Okay, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we move on to a hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get an in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's your view. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
How we're doing, guys? Is the makeup in progress? Makeup? Check. Are the scripts on the prompter? Script? Check. Are we set in the VCR? All team in place? VCR? Check. Clock is ticking, time is racing, lights are. Plans all set. 120 minutes of hot entertainment. We are ready for the mission. How we're doing.
Àwọn kan wà tí wọ́n bá kú tọ́jọ́ kú wọn ò tí ì pé wọ́n á papòdà síbòmíì.
Is that how you're gonna say it?
Ọkọ̀ tí wàá sọ nìyẹn.
Ó ṣe wá kọ̀wé ránṣẹ́ yìí pé òun fẹ́ rí mi kájọ fojúkojú yìí kò yé èmi o.
Bó ṣe pé ẹ̀rí ẹ̀mí lẹ́kùnmọ́ àyà mi sì sọ kí.
Torí kí ni?
Àkọ́yẹ́ kọ́ mọ̀ pé jẹ́rẹ̀ ẹ̀mí lẹ́kùnmọ́ yọmọ mú yẹn rí flashback jọ́ ìkí ọmọ tó mọ̀ ẹgbọ́n mọ́.
At a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Start the show!
Thanks for staying with us. So reports coming in from Akure is that children numbering over 50 have been allegedly discovered rescued from an underground compartment in a church building at the Valentina area of Ondo City on Friday night. Now, the rescue by the police and a few pastors were also arrested. Now, this video went viral, and of course, the comments from the video was alleging that the children possibly kidnapped or abducted. But new reports are coming on that the story might be different from what we expect. So we're trying to bring on the PRO from the police, Ondo Police Command, to share with us exactly what their findings have been since Friday after the rescue of these 50 children. Good morning, PRO. Are you there? Okay, while we're trying to get her connected, what are your thoughts when you saw this video? I mean, I saw the faces of the... is she on? Hello, madam, are you there? Okay, yeah, so we're not... So, I mean, when you saw the videos, I was just you know, the Nigerian commentary first, you have no idea.
Oh God.
You just see children and just start saying...
You took the words out of my mouth. My first comment was that, why have we all become reporters? Every Nigerian with a phone now is a reporter.
Yeah.
You see a video, hey, they want to kill themselves, so they are fighting, they want to kill themselves. These children, they have been kidnapped, though. I'm like wondering, you have no idea what happened. You have no information. But you pick up your phone, record, and you post online, and people will start running with lies, not knowing that it is not true. Lives can be lost due to lies. It is worrisome, and I think we need to talk more about it so that people can, you can record something and say, I don't know what is happening here, but I'm worried.
Exactly.
You don't need to give information without being sure, because what we're hearing now is that these 50 children, even though underaged, are not kidnapped. We're not kidnapped, and that's...
Well, I'm told that the PRO is on the phone now, so let us even get exactly before we even discuss this matter. Good morning, madam. Are you there? PRO Odulami. Good morning, madam. Are you there?
Madam Murayo, good morning.
Good to have you on the show with us today. So before we go into the conversation, could you give us an idea of what happened on Friday? How many children you rescued, and what's the story as of this morning?
Thank you. Sorry, I was actually watching TVC, but I found out that it's as if my TV is a bit slower than the call.
Yes.
Yes, first of all, let me correct this impression. 26 children were rescued, 43 adults.
26 children and 43 adults, okay?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
It was a case of an assistant pastor, actually, because parents that came around said it was the assistant pastor that was the major problem. He was the one who claimed that that was going to take place in April, but later told them it was going to be September.
Okay.
And we also realized that some of these parents, too, were actually attending the church prior to those times. But later they changed their mind and they said the pastor was preaching heresy. They left the church. But unfortunately, they left their children in that church.
Right. You might need to reduce the volume of your TV so you don't, so you're listening to us.
I can reduce the volume of my TV?
Please. Yes, please, to help us. Thank you. So these parents were there willingly with their children, and they left their children willingly with the pastors. Is that what you're saying?
Initially, they were all members of the church, but later on, they left the church.
Okay.
One of the parents said, the daughter said she wanted to be convinced on her own that she needed to leave the church, and that was why she had to stay. Unfortunately, while she was still going to the church, without informing her parents, she left school and started staying in church. The father said she left since January 2022. Just today, this morning, another father sent a text to me now that his daughter left home since 2021. That is a pathetic case, but until he gets there, we can't really say much.
Children that have decided.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Please, could you explain to us these children that have decided on their own without their parents' consent or agreement? How old are these children? Are these 21-year-olds, 18-year-olds, or are these babies? What are we talking about here?
I can hear you.
Okay.
So there's a question. Mariam is asking the age range of the children in question. Oh, we're trying to get her call back. Okay, so we're going to quick break. When we come back, we'll try to get a better connection to speak with her. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
There's joy when we eat together. Coca-Cola, real wonder.
God, everybody knows say I be real person, even for my acting. Now original, not be fake. Enjoy my people. As now they see me so, I know they joke with anything where they bring rich flavor, total nutrition, and great taste. Like my Checkers custard make 3-in-1. The Totorica, Banga, and rich custard. Checkers custard quality sure. My family, they know they take a play.
Can someone get these two out of my set now?
Good thing good, I beg. I no go lie. This na custard.
Checkers.
Na custard
be that.
All I do is win. I wake up, I win. I close my eyes, and I win. We got an emergency, girlfriend. Keep up on me, come on, let's go. Keep winning till the world stops spinning. Independent women, come on, now let's get it. I'ma keep winning till the world stops.
Wow, you look great.
Did you just come from the salon?
Darling Superstar, grades that stay salon fresh no matter what.
They act like Leila's mom.
What if she's bringing supreme ice cream?
Hey girls, I got ice cream. She's coming. Hey girls, I got ice cream.
Supreme ice cream now comes in a new exciting look with new label design, logo, and now comes in a white tub with all the joy in every scoop. Supreme, rich and creamy ice cream.
Because no matter where you go, no matter how we be, I go always there for you. Anything where you talk or whatever you drink, oh, I cannot be the bad for you. All I ask in return is that you treat me a little better with time, oh. Toilet cleaner, my hygiene, your own, oh. Toilet cleaner, it's a win-win for me and you, so make me win, oh.
Oh no.
Oh, you're running low on airtime or data? Then no problem. Introducing Ding, a leading online recharge service and now available in Nigeria. It's simple. When you're out of airtime or data, just ask your friends and family from abroad to send you a recharge with Ding. All you have to do is go to ding.com/request, create a Ding profile, and then share your link with friends and family overseas. They will then know you're running out of credit and they can send you mobile data or credit with Ding in less than 30 seconds. Now available in Nigeria. Ding is a leading online recharge service with the highest rating on Trustpilot, top-level security, and 24 hours customer support. It's an easy and fast way for your phone to receive airtime top-up. Go to ding.com/request to ask for top-up now.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the video we saw on Friday about some children that were rescued by the Ondo State Police Command. And we have with us the PRO, Ibukun Ojulamo, is on the phone with us. She has confirmed that there were 26 children, 43 adults that were rescued. Madam, are you still there? You had a question. Mariam had a question for you concerning the age range of the children who have agreed to stay. Would you respond to that, please?
Yes. Some of them were teenagers, and we have more than some are actually above 18. We have a lady who is 21. She was the one that left home in January. She left her parents and left school too. We have some who are actually on the graduate who left. Like I was saying, that a father just sent me a check that our daughter left home since last year. That the daughter was one of those that was in that same church.
Okay. So this is religion, and we know that many people suspend their brains when we're talking religion. But under what, and maybe Nima would have been the right person to ask question, how would you prosecute this kind of case?
Charge?
What kind of charge would be brought against this pastor? Because
I can barely hear you guys.
Oh, that's so sad. Well, trying to find out what kind of charges will be brought against this pastor, because it seems like those that there wasn't kidnapping. They willingly stayed within the custody of the pastor, believing what he said.
I'm trying to follow.
Watching TV.
Okay, so we're having connection issues, obviously, because I really, really need to. Can you hear me? Maybe somebody you can't hear. Hello, madam, are you there?
Yes, but if I follow what I just heard now, the question is, how are we going to prosecute the pastor?
Exactly. Exactly. So you're listening to the TV and it's delayed, but go ahead if you have the, go ahead.
Okay, if I listen to the TV, I will go with what Prophet just said, that how is the person going to be charged?
Exactly.
Or what is the person going to be charged for? Yes, by the time we are through with the investigation, we have the...
You're listening to TV, listen to us, madam.
We have the legal department that would actually advise us, give us the legal advice on what to do, the exact offense they will be charged for.
Okay.
All right, so please, I really need you to turn down your TV so you can hear, turn it off particularly, so you can hear me directly on the phone. If not, the viewers will not get the value from this conversation.
Yes.
They won't hear us. They won't get anything. Nima, go ahead, please, with your question.
So I'm wondering, what's the situation with the children presently, since since they were recovered? What have you done with them? Did you just hand them over to their parents? Did you do anything for them before giving them back?
Did you get that?
I don't know if you...
All right, I think we have to disconnect that call because unfortunately we're unable to get.
Well, I don't know what the problem is. I can barely hear you, but from what Nima just said, some of these kids, they've been released to their parents. Remember, some of these students too, their parents were in the church.
So the PRO needs to understand that when you're on a TV program, the TV is delayed. So you need to speak to the phone, not the television. So I need to disconnect the call, but I guess we can speak to, we can find somebody else in the police that can talk to us about this. But generally, we have confirmed that they weren't kidnapped. They willingly went to the pastor, and the pastor did say that Jesus was coming in April. Unfortunately, Jesus didn't come, and they're hoping that by September, Jesus will come. So we're staying there waiting for the rapture.
So that's what I wanted to confirm, if they were going home and coming back, and because it looked like they were underneath a building. So were they like in a bunker, and had they stayed there all this time? What was their living condition during this period? Were they going out and coming in? That would have been nice for her to confirm for us.
Oh, so I mean, this is part of what. So let's now come to the issue of religion, because we've seen this happen even in the U.S. We've seen this happen. I remember the year back then where I think it was in Florida, like where it was, where they had people waiting for the rapture, and they all died. You know, it was a bunk bed. All of them were there, and so this is not new. This is something, but you just think, to what end do you? I mean, sometimes you think to yourself, how does this even happen? How do you condition the mind of your members to go to the point where they are willingly coming to stay with you because of rapture is coming? And is that what the Bible said? I mean, you just think to yourself, how do we get to this point where people are this conditioned not to even use their own reasoning on stuff like this?
I think that the Bible, from the Christian perspective, I know that this happens across all religions, where we tend to just believe whatever they say, whatever our leaders in religion say. The Bible asks us to question. You're supposed to question the Bible. You're supposed to verify the word. And I feel that it is easy to just say, drink the water and you are healed. People like to be told what to do.
Absolutely.
People don't like to think through what to do. Absolutely. So it's easier for me to forget my use of my brain and just listen to what they say and do it, rather than taking responsibility for my life. And it happens everywhere. And I think that we need to start encouraging people to think for themselves. I remember clearly my pastor saying that the eagle was the highest flying bird or something, and people corrected him. That, sir, check Google. That thing you said in church was wrong. And he came the next Sunday in church and said that, thank you for correcting me, because it shows I'm not perfect. Now I do better research. What I said last week Sunday was wrong. We need to begin to, because we feel like these people are messiahs. They are not. They are human beings like you and I. They prepare for the message. They preach the message as led by the Holy Spirit, who is also in you. So I think that the society needs to education. You know, when that Serap director was saying that education helps us to...
CRO said they were graduates in that phase.
Yeah. Undergraduate.
So it's all about education.
Because when you are educated, you understand your rights. You understand that, Oga, You say Jesus is coming in April. It did not come. Are you sure you know what you're talking about? So you can begin to question. And then we also have this respect for leaders. So, I mean, respect for elderly people. And I think it's in between those two things that we get lost in. Religious worship of human beings and elder respect.
Let me go on a break because we're going to wrap up on this, but I want us to pack the Akure story and focus really on us.
Behavior.
Our behavior. How susceptible we are to these kinds of things. How our minds have degenerated over the years to the point where we're just willing to be served, not to actually learn to cook ourselves. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bali, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Splash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communication story.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get an in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's your view. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Thanks for staying with us. So the conversation that happened concerning these children that were found by the police in Akure, we're going to end that conversation because it raised up 2 other issues, which is what Tokpa said earlier about the fact that the gullibility of Nigerians, first of all, in listening to ministers and pastors, hook, line, and sinker, and the fact that we have everybody have become a journalist online, so the commentary is online itself. So these are 2 key topics we'll have to deal with another day. But today we have another guest who's going to be joining us on a serious matter within the judiciary. So last Monday, President Muhammadu Buhari swore in 67-year-old Justice Olukayode Ariwoola as the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria. Ariwoola takes over from the outgone Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Muhammad, and is expected to serve in an acting capacity till the further confirmation by the National Judicial Council. Joining us now on the show is the managing partner, Petchstone and Grays, LP Osaro Egbobamien. He's the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, SAN. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, so we need a bit of understanding because the recent resignation of the CJN opened up a whole lot of can of worms on what happened, especially because preceding that was a letter written by the Supreme Court justices, about 14 of them, complaining about their welfare, and all the issues I've had concerning the justices. And then we know the CJN had responded and said, listen, we're not oblivious of the economic reality we're having. This is not having to do with me personally. It's the fact that this is our realities. And then weeks after, he resigns. What's going on? So in your view, do you think his resignation is connected to the right to the issues raised by the Supreme Court justices?
Thank you for having me. This is my second time here.
Yes.
First, let me say that when I came here the last time, I wasn't a member of the National Judicial Council, NJC.
Yes.
So I'm now a member. And therefore, in speaking to you, I'm speaking in my personal capacity. Okay. I'm not speaking as a member of the NJC, even though the invitation was on those grounds. There are systemic failures. I saw the letter, and I don't know if you read that letter. It's supposed to be a private letter. The very fact that the letter was leaked in itself reveals the level of decadence in the entire system. But it's been happening for a while. If you read that letter carefully, the complaint was more in connection with the administration of the court system as opposed to the administration of justice. In other words, the allowances for the judges, the fact that training was a problem, fact of electricity, diesel.
Yeah.
And the topic I was asked to look into is what are the challenges and how will the present acting chief judge, if he's confirmed, most likely he probably will be, how will it deal with those challenges? So the first point to make, looking at that letter, is to distinguish between the administration of justice and the administration of the court system. In most other jurisdictions, the administration of the court system is domiciled with an independent body that liaises with the chief judge. And let me break chief justice. Let me break that down. Let me break it down. So the chief justice, and if I use a pedestrian analogy, the chief justice is involved in deciding, perhaps with the registrar, how much should be paid for stationery, for newspapers. First of all, he's not trained in that skill of administration. It's a complex issue to administer. And how do you prioritize what is important? If the roof of the Supreme Court were to be leaking, the justices of the Supreme Court say that our training has been affected and our allowances have been affected. How does he make a decision whether or not he should fix the roof of the Supreme Court as opposed to training? So, although this grievance was directed at the Chief Justice, it's a bit more serious than that. It's a systemic failure. It is not the Chief Justice that should be dealing with the administration of the courts. It's an independent body. The good point here is that we were involved in investigating many of these problems only recently. And a number of institutions came together for the first time. So you had a Judicial Summit that was held on the 17th of January of this year. That summit was organized by a combination of the Nigerian Bar Association, the NJC, which is very interesting, the JRI, Justice Reform Institute, and JRP, Justice Reform Project, the Conrad Arnold Foundation, as well as the last one was, it will come shortly. But basically, these groups came together, and for the first time, you had the legislature, you had the judiciary, and then you also had the bar. And we all sat together, all those who were involved in actually making a difference, and all those who will be involved in reforms, were all there together, and we agreed on what to do. So there were recommendations. 3 areas focused on. One was the selection, appointment, and promotion of judges. The other is budgeting and accounting. And the last one is the acceleration of justice, which is predicated on the earlier 2. Now, so what we need to do is clear. The issue is implementation. And when I say what we need to do is clear, it's not that that is new, it's not innovative. I think I always refer to Justice Waifo's valedictory speech in 2005, where he listed or he chronicled some of the defects in the judiciary, particularly the quality of judges that were coming into the Supreme Court. And he said it's only a matter of time. So you have a situation where Justice Waifo, and I'm speaking through Justice Waifo's document because I appear before judges, so I have to be careful and I can't generalize. But speaking through his documents, he said the quality of judges who were admitted into the magistracy was suspect, and it was clear that they were not up to standard. He said, but that was seeping into the superior courts of record, the high courts, the Court of Appeal, and God forbid the day where there's incompetence in the Supreme Court.
Wow.
This was in 2005, and many of the other justices, including Justice Mukhtar, had made these kind of comments in their valedictory speeches. The question is, what was done about it? There needed to be systemic reforms. Fortunately, we're at that stage. So I think the present acting chief judge has his work cut out for him. It's fortunate that these recommendations are predicated on empirical evidence. So the civil society that joined us went into great length, the UNODC, so that's trying to remember, went into great lengths conducting a research as to what should be done. And so what we're recommending now is predicated on this empirical evidence.
So when you started by explaining how we place management, like there are different areas. Management is different from being a judge. It's a totally different thing. It's something that Nima and I had discussed with the medical sector, how we give CMDs to doctors as opposed to people who truly understand management. And you already allude to the issues that and the resolutions that can come in as solutions. However, I feel that the way the previous CJN stepped out, it should have been made to address some issues. And it seemed because he's stepping out on health grounds, those issues will not get addressed. And if there's no closure, how do we successfully move on? If people have accused him of some things, and then suddenly he steps out of the scene, and then we expect the next person to come to be a messiah, are we not being unrealistic with our expectation of the new acting CJN?
So you're correct. If the new CJN comes in, he will find out that there are structural inhibitions. And he's probably going to make a few changes, which might not actually fundamentally address the problem. I think it's more than that. When I saw that the present CJN, the immediate past CJN was given an award by the president, I thought it was a bit hasty. I thought that what should be done was look into the situation and see what happened. But I want to go beyond that because, in truth, there are structural inhibitions. Certain things need to be changed. The way the NJC is constituted must change. The Chief Justice of Nigeria has 80% appointing discretion within the NJC. What that means is that whatever the Chief Judge does, a reflection of his personality is what the NJC stands for. And this permeates through the entire judiciary. That kind of...
Nobody should have that kind of power.
Correct. So these are fundamental changes that have to take place. There has to be a distinction between the administration of justice and the administration of the court process. You cannot get the Chief Judge signing very pedestrian invoices, attending to invoices of that nature. That's what it looks like. If you read that letter is extremely revealing. Because what the letter said is, oh, we've gone to our leader. And the word used was our leader. I mean, that in itself permits a culture that is not good. It's not a leader, it's first among equals. So the other justices say, our leader is not doing the right thing. Choice of words. But of course, it tells you the culture that's permitted in. So what we're saying is that we must address some of these fundamental changes. Some of it doesn't require constitutional changes. You see, how do you become the Chief Justice of Nigeria? Once you are admitted or elevated to a superior court of record, you can be the Chief Judge, no matter how incompetent you are.
Wow.
That's the system that operates today because, I don't know if I should go into the detail how it works.
Let me go into a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with this conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Everybody loves massive discount because it either helps them save money or get more from their budget.
But sadly, every day isn't Christmas, unless like me.
You've got to have the higher Thermocool Genpal Inverter Air Conditioner that helps me save 70% on electricity consumption. Plus, I enjoy multiple ACs even when on Gen. That's less bills
and more comfort every day.
So what will you do with your 70% savings?
Get the new higher Thermocool Genpal Inverter AC and enjoy 70% savings on electricity consumption. That's less bills and more comforts. Higher Thermocool, always there for you.
This is your captain speaking. We are currently cruising on an altitude of... Sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight.
No more ghetto and go.
Enjoy Cowbell Choco, fortified with Vitarich plus iron.
I like you. I really do. I love the way you make my body feel. I love how cool you are and how you just rejuvenate me. You give me everything I need. And I know they say not to trust your partner fully, but I trust you completely. You are truly pure, inside and out. In fact, you're purity itself. Nobody gets me the way you do. And that's why you're my paddy of life.
Union Bank is 105. To celebrate our anniversary, we're giving away 55 million naira. Save 10,000 naira or more monthly to stand a chance of winning. Offer open to new and existing customers.
Medical Sciences, UNIMED, in Ondo City, Ondo State. It's not just the first specialized medical and health sciences university in Nigeria.
It is the best ground for training in the health professions and medical sciences with outstanding products.
I had to enroll at another institution before coming to UNIMED, and I can tell you, in terms of facility, affordable cost, uninterrupted academic calendar, University of Medical Sciences blew my mind.
In just 7 years of its founding, the National Universities Commission, NUC, ranks UNIMED best among medical and health sciences university in Nigeria, 4th best state university, and 19th overall best in Nigeria in 2021. UNIMED, proudly Nigeria's first specialized medical and health sciences university.
Nivea Natural Fairness is now Nivea Perfect and Radiant. Reveal your skin's natural radiance with Nivea Perfect and Radiant, enriched with berry extracts and UV filters to reduce dark spots and even out your skin tone. For radiant and even-toned skin, say hello again to Nivea Perfect and Radiant Body Lotion. Try the full Nivea Perfect and Radiant range to unlock your most radiant self.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guest with us, Mr. Osaro Egbobame. Yes, the SAN. Yes, Mariam had a question for the break. Go ahead, please.
So, you know, I know that many Nigerians are just waiting to hear. The former CJN, is he corrupt or is not corrupt? That letter that was written, does it in any way prove that there was corruption during his time or he was involved in any form of corrupt practices on one hand? On the other hand, is there a system that can charge him, that can prosecute him, that can investigate him? That's what Nigerians want to know.
All right, I'm tempted to answer your question in the reverse, whether there's a system that can investigate him. The factual question on whether or not he's corrupt, that is obviously a difficult question to answer in the absence of real empirical evidence. But when you're in the administration of justice, when you're sitting in the adjudicatory role, when you occupy such an exalted position, there's a way Justice Waifo talked about the need for persons who have any aura of corruption around them not to actually be admitted into the bench. Let me read what Justice Waifo says, which is revealing. This was in 2005. Let me just read what he said. He said, as regards the appointment to the Court of Appeal, names are submitted for consideration for appointment and eventually successful candidates emerge. It is not at all clear what verifiable criteria are used to ensure the suitability and capability of those appointed. But whenever any of those appointed prove indeed to be suitable and capable, it is rather a matter of good fortune or chance. In other words, whether or not they are appointed is a matter of good fortune or chance. It could just happen that even those about whom there is a common knowledge of corruption pass through. Those with skewed appreciation of the legal principles and the lazy ones may similarly benefit. I think those responsible for such appointments have an uphill task because of the lack of sufficient data available to them. In my view, there are certain imperatives which must not be compromised or overlooked if a particular appointment can be truly justified.
So what are those?
The system of appointment has to be strengthened. We don't have an independent criteria of verifying whether or not somebody is suitable. You can't have the minimum standard as the only standard. So what happens today if you're 10 or 15 years, depending on whether you're going to be Court of Appeal or the High Court, 10, 12, or 15 years, that's the criteria, and you've practiced law. Now, even the practice of law, sometimes there's no verifiable criteria whether or not you've been in practice. Sometimes we see people sitting on a bench and they say they've been maybe at customs or in roles that doesn't demonstrate how they could have acquired practical experience for the sensitive role that they're about to perform. So what we've suggested, and I think the good news, and I think progress is being made, that particular summit came up with some recommendations, which has now been backed up by some empirical evidence, that there needs to be a standard. That standard will be superintended over by an independent body, maybe the National Judicial Institute, Convention on, you know, there are a few others, civil society joined the group. We will simply be replicating what is happening in many other parts of the world. So if I sit at the NJC and I have documentation regarding a particular candidate, I can read that documentation against a verifiable standard and see whether or not that person, you know, qualifies to be appointed. Today, there is no such standard that I know. Some states independently, and I think the Attorney General of Lagos State at that time, Yemi Oshibajo, had begun to introduce some sort of standards. Nowhere in the world do you simply just become the Superior Court of Record simply because you're connected or you're...
How did you get away with it for so long?
So all about the requirement
in the past it worked in the 60s and 70s, and that is because those who actually got there on merits. So they were more likely to recommend a system of meritocracy. Now, countries that actually acted in that fashion, including the United Kingdom, have moved away completely. But we're stuck there. And we're faced with more challenges. During the time of the 60s and 70s, what you had was a military institute.
Let me come to Nima. Nima,
there used to be, or there still is a major requirement of the most senior on the bench when it comes to the Supreme Court appointment. So you would not necessarily just be appointed by your connections. You had to be, you know, the most senior. Does that requirement not, you know, mean that you most merit that position at the time of appointment? Or have you ever seen in the past any appointment that, you know, contradicts that to raise the question of corruption?
So most senior should be a consideration only, not the only. And that's because you'll have in the bench some very bright people who've come in very early. I give an example of Lord Sumption in the United Kingdom, who went straight from the bar to the bench. He spent 7 years there and made remarkable impacts on in policy decision-making. So you can't, in a position that is so sensitive, rely only on the fact as the most senior, particularly because the criteria...
Maybe at the point of appointment.
Yes, particularly at in a situation where there is no standard to appoint. So what it means is anybody who gets into the system can travel straight to be the Chief Justice of Nigeria. There must be a standard such that, first of all, not every lawyer is qualified in that sense to be a judge, a sitting judge. And not every judge is qualified to go to the Court of Appeal. It can't be for every judge.
I agree.
Everywhere in the world. So we did a comparative analysis. Kenya, Ghana, United Kingdom, South Africa, all these other jurisdictions have had similar problems like ours, but they've moved on. So you see, I refer to Justice Wifo in 2005, made recommendations. All the recommendations we're talking about are not new, But I think for the very first time, we've come to a situation where all those who are necessary for the change to happen came together and said, these are the recommendations. And all we need to do now with the new acting Chief Justice is really to...
Let me come to an issue that the former Chief Judge raised. He said that, listen, budgetary allocations is at the point where you allocate the budget, doesn't mean I get the money. It's one thing to have a budget to sort out welfare. It's a whole other ballgame to actually have the money given to you to do the job. And then, according to him also, there are other priority areas, which is what you're saying, that fixing the roof infrastructure versus issues of welfare. And you've also said that they need to get an independent body. But my worry is, how does the judiciary self-regulate itself? What measures can they take to actually ensure that the self-regulating approach they are taking is the right one? Or should we have an external way of looking outward in to see how they can help them resolve this issue? Because if judiciary collapses, it's total anarchy, just like I said earlier.
If it collapses?
As
So those are two questions in one. Yeah.
And, you've asked a number of questions. So let me try and break it down and deal with each one. So the first thing is budgeting and accounting. Again, we're fortunate that we have an in-depth analysis into this, and there was an outcome and a recommendation. So one of the things that has troubled many of the stakeholders in the system is this question of the independence of the judiciary as far as revenue is concerned. What you don't want is, which happens today, a chief judge going to a governor sitting in his office and pleading to get his allocation. So I think it is important. And governors use that, unfortunately, to manipulate the system. So many of us were quiet when there was this agitation, or we were supporting it implicitly. But you see, it's one thing to ask for independence. It's another thing to be responsible and be accountable about what you're giving. So there are two things. But we decided to focus on the independence first, and then we go to the next stage, which is self-accounting. So when we had all the stakeholders come together, the executive said, okay, you may be right that what is being allocated is insufficient, but let us see how you spend what you're giving in any case. Make your books open, and the judiciary refuses to do that. So you have that problem which is now being resolved. That's why I say the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria really doesn't have too many problems to deal with. The problems have been identified. It's now a question of the will.
Yes, the will to do it.
So that is why we say, okay, judiciary, this is a point they're making. Nobody is giving money and is asked not to account. And you want more money, you must tell us how you expend that money. So at that level, it's being dealt with as we speak, and I'm hoping that the new CJN will look into this. So that's the first point.
I'll let you answer the second question after the break.
Okay.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy E-Flash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV station.
The performance. Concentrated power. Concentrated performance. The partnership of concentrated power. So Clean, the official regional partner of Paris Saint-Germain.
A mother's instincts are hardly ever wrong. She knows when all is not well
And she trusts M&B paracetamol, the red one, to save the day. With fast-acting and effective M&B paracetamol tablet, the red one, and its pleasant-tasting pineapple flavor syrup, she sends aches and pains far away from her family. M&B paracetamol. Pain can't stop you. If symptoms persist after 2 days, consult your doctor.
They act like Leila's mom.
What if she's bringing supreme ice cream?
Hey girls, I got ice cream. She's coming. Hey girls, I got ice cream.
Supreme ice cream now comes in a new exciting look with new label design, logo, and now comes in a white tub with all the joy in every scoop. Supreme, rich and creamy ice cream.
Showing up in style inspires great confidence. IVM G5T appeals to class.
Time is of the essence. With IVM Kappa, business and meetings are always on the go.
Fun time with the family. Thank you to IVM Kingdom. IVM Carries always stealing the show. Isn't she beautiful? Influence defines a great leader. IVM Seriki is Africa's commute king. Strong, reliable, and durable. With the concept of regionalization, Innocent Vehicle is committed to satisfying its customers with producing their everyday dream cars.
IVM, pride of African roots.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guest with us. And before the break, you were answering the question I asked earlier. The second part of the question.
Yes. The second part of the question was really, for me, or the way I put the question is, what can be done about this?
The breakdown of...
The breakdown. You use the word, very strong words, as the system is likely to break down. And I say it's broken. And we now need to fix it. I'm optimistic that we can fix it. And I did say, one of the recommendations which can be implemented immediately that will resolve these problems is for the CJN to simply start demarcating the administration of the court system from the administration of justice. Now, the brother justices in that letter is revealing, complained about their welfare. Their welfare. The individual welfare is a substantial part of it. So if the CJN had dealt with their welfare, then what happens to the other administration of the court system in case he's not dealing with it? Who complains? Because the system is opaque. Who is going to be the protector of the general public that use the system? So today what has happened is confidence is eroded. Whether you're a plaintiff or a defendant, prosecution or a defendant, anyone who comes into or in contact with the administration of justice goes there seriously scathed. And when you come out of it, you regret ever going there. Those who benefit from the system are those who know how to take advantage of the system, which is broken.
Yeah, so, but a major issue now.
Yes.
The leaked memo was signed by 14 justices. Top of them is the present acting CJN. And if we're looking at, whoever heads the justice system to fix this problem, how do we then, get someone who thought at the time of that memo that the only issue is that we are not being taken care of?
That's why I say that I'm extremely optimistic that change will come. Because he was part of a system that affected him negatively and affected the entire value chain, the administration of justice. Listen to what I said. Affected him and affected the system. He is now under an obligation to fix the whole thing. But he doesn't have much to do because a lot of the work has been done and we simply just produce it to him and then he goes...
We hope he does. Okay, so let me take this call from Joseph. Joseph from Bonny Island. Good morning, are you there? Hello, Joseph.
going back to my question about judiciary, I feel that judiciary is so important that people many people on the street don't understand why they are angry. And one of the reasons we're angry is because people feel like there's no justice. People can do things and they'll get away with it. So I'm not going to wait to let the judiciary or the court system release him, or the case will be pending in perpetuity. I will sort this thing myself. And so they take laws into their hands just to exert that justice by themselves. And I listen to you and I'm thinking maybe there is hope. But how can the layman watching this show now feel like there is hope for him or her in this current justice system?
Very good. And I think what you've just done is to situate the importance of the rule of law in our society. Law is not just about the rules that regulate disputes. It is the values upon which the society is predicated. So if you're even in a queue, the reason why you cannot successfully jump the queue in other jurisdictions is that if someone stops you and it degenerates into a fracas, there's a system that will resolve that problem. Today in Nigeria, unfortunately, it doesn't appear as if there's a system. And that system that exists, whoever is going before it doesn't have confidence in the system. You need a level of confidence for the administration of justice to be effective. So the man on the street is lacking in that confidence. So, I mean, I'm talking with empirical evidence. Most people have no confidence in it. Now, there's a responsibility of those of us who just joined the NJC to perhaps bring this to the knowledge of the judges who are insulated from many of these things, to say, look, it's not just about the welfare of the judges that's an issue here. It is the entire administration of justice that is in crisis. So it has to be dealt with from that perspective. So I'm pleased that the acting CJN was part of that problem. You signed that letter. And I think everybody should read that letter. That's a scathing indictment with the greatest respect. And I'm sure it wasn't ever meant for the public on the immediate past Chief Justice of Nigeria.
Sir, let me pick your brain a bit, because I've always had this mindset, and this is not regarding this issue. What you said recently just reminded me. I've always had a thinking that we're in this quest for the rule of law, we are way ahead of the real value system that we have in this country. So we have the rule of law, which is great, but where we are as a people, we are at a point where people need to be hanged. We're at a point where people need to be killed for raping children. We're at a point where we need to let out, like, we're not as advanced as the Western world, where they can reason and say, you know what, well, she killed him because this is premeditated. We're not there. You killed him, you die. So do you think we need to take a few steps back in our exerting of the rule of law and what really connects to the Nigerian people? Because we are in a chaotic state. There are people right now in this country that totally do not understand that there's something called rule of law. So do you think we're going way too fast, or we need to take a step back, or we can still get the Nigerian people to catch up? Because I always make this argument with Nima. Nima says, Morel, we must never water down the rule of law because it's important. But there's some cases we hear and we're thinking, come on.
Because the process of the rule of law is not working. There are too many people who are occupying sensitive positions that have no business in that occupancy. So there is also the question about law being the culture, or at the very least, it's a mirror of our culture. So those who are actually being elevated to the Superior Court of Record, who should set the standard, if they're not setting those standards, there are certain ethics and nuances that actually follow the rule of law. So in Nigeria, to demonstrate that you're a big man, you broke the law, and there are no consequences. And then you expect that the young man or the man on the streets, the youths, should actually obey the rule of law. So the rule of law is so important. There's empirical evidence to demonstrate that countries that do very well economically tend to be obedient to the rule of law. So in Nigeria, I think that just ethics, what is necessary to actually ensure that you have an effective rule of law, is absent. And that is why you can have people who are not qualified. In every society, you have people who will not obey the law. So the law is made for them. They are not made to occupy the seat of the law, to start enforcing and to start adjudicating. That's the problem. So our system needs to be strengthened so that we can achieve that.
Okay, so having said all this, I always come to the fact that, you know, we have complained and complained. What can I do as an individual Nigerian to see a difference?
So, every practicing lawyer, I always start from there and then we go to the citizen, has to know the law, has to know what is wrong with the law, has to be able to predict change and participate in that change. What we do in the administration of justice and why we do it must be called into review consistently so that we're changing our rules and our processes as we go on. Unfortunately, you now have a pool of lawyers who perhaps don't understand that responsibility. And from that pool, they become judges. And from those judges of the Superior Court of Record and the High Courts, they travel to the Supreme Court. So the reason why I say I'm excited, when Olukayode, the president of the NBA, submitted my name, he never told me. Maybe I probably wouldn't have accepted saying that I didn't want to get involved. But I've accepted the position with enthusiasm and passion and hoping that if there's anything that I could do, which is reforms, I'm now in a subcommittee dealing with selection, appointment and promotion of judges. So what can you do as editors? We must denounce practices that break the law. We're too quick to give credit to people who circumvent the rule of law. So even in politics, it's the same thing. If you look at how we're playing our politics, and these politicians will end up appointing our judges, we see the correlation there. So if you see that those values are less than what you expect, they are likely to appoint judges who will play to their dictates. So we must try and get a system that is strengthened, and then you can't introduce politics into it. And we've done all the work. I mean, you know, civil society, all the work has been done. So I'm hoping that the present acting Chief Justice, and you know, once we have an interaction with him, he will implement.
So is the judiciary really independent? Because we have that four arms of government, the executive, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, because your money comes from the executive, it's so difficult. So what can we do to make the judiciary truthfully completely independent of every arm of other?
So there are a combination of things. You're right. If you are beholden particularly to your revenue to administer the court to a particular governor, you may be in a situation where you are suppressed or where there's oppression and there's influences. But if you have a sufficient level of character, law is not just an application of skill and art. It's also an application of scholarship as it relates to your work, academic work, and your character. So if you have strong characters in the bench, it's going to be very difficult to influence them. Let me give you a story that my uncle, my late uncle, shared with me. He was Justice in the Supreme Court, Justice Obaseki. They were sitting once, and I think it was Gawan who was the head of state. And Gawan had sent a note to the Chief Justice of Nigeria at that point. And the Chief Justice asking that he'd like to see him. A very cordial note. And the Chief Justice turned it around, turned the paper around. I'm the head of a system, and I am sitting, I'm sorry, I can't see you. Now that takes character, the spirit of excellence, to tell the Supreme Court, you can't just call me now. But these days, I mean, you see what happens. So, if the person who's been appointed, the appointing system is very important. If he believes that his appointment was as a result of the head of state, rather than his merits on the job, if the head of state calls him, he will jump. So the system of appointment, especially to the bench, is critical. There must be a systemic change. It's not about one person. Today, how do you get to the bench? It depends on who you know. Once you satisfy the very basic criteria, in other words, you've been 10 years. So if you've been mixing cement somewhere and you know great politicians, put your name through, and then you get through.
I think Nigerians want to be involved in deciding who gets there.
So the question really is that you get good judges by accident now. You know, yes, there are many good judges.
We have to
and indeed, what happens is that those good judges are dispirited because they're in a system where their work and their sterling qualities and scholarship is not taken into account.
I mean, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We need to bring it back because I was reading one of these. All those things that the judges, the rulings.
Newsletter.
What was it called?
Rulings, yes.
The rulings, and it's so watered down. You know, there was a time when I was growing up that But I had to give you one of those just to read to understand. And you feel it's very, very interesting to read. But today, it's very watered down. You can write this now.
Wow.
So it's really, really, I hear what you're saying. Times have changed, but we have to run.
Please, they need a refresher's course.
It's even more frustrating for lawyers who tend to be in-depth with their work, appearing before.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
But having said all that,
you have to run, sir.
having said all that, I'm extremely optimistic. You join us in the reform in administration of justice. And I'm running 42 kilometers in March.
Oh, yes, it's true. You run.
It's a marathon. We will make it.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, that's all we can take on this. When we come back, we show the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Which of these is the largest whale? Blue whale, red whale, yellow whale, and black whale?
Blue whale.
Blue whale. That's correct. You have 5,000 naira. Question 8 is upon us. You are 8 correct answers away from 20 million. Question 8 for 150,000. Have a look. I hope you like it. You have phone a friend. Who was the first elected female president in Africa? Samia Suluhu Hassan, Saleh Work Zewde, Ellen Sirleaf, Winnie Mandela.
I know Ellen Sirleaf.
What?
I said I was very well aware of her tenure, of when she was president. That's Ellen Sirleaf. I knew when she was president.
Okay.
No, Winnie didn't get there. When you read too much, sometimes you miss the simplest, you miss the smallest detail you should know.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let's phone a friend.
What's the name of your friend?
Shanu.
Shanu? Hello, Shanu. My name is Frank Edo from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. How are you?
I'm fine.
All right. So, calling you, you know that your friend is in the hot seat. Tolu wants your help on a certain question. Tell me, is there a staff of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire right there with you, making sure you don't get the answers from somewhere?
Yes.
All right, so you'll hear her voice. She'll tell you the question. Tell us how sure you are when you choose the option you think is right, okay? All right. Okay, Tolu, you have 30 seconds. Be very loud, please. Good luck. Your time starts now.
Pompey. Which of these is the national animal of Mexico? National animal of Mexico. Peregrine falcon, golden eagle, red-shouldered auk, barn owl.
Please come again.
National animal of Mexico. Peregrine falcon, golden eagle, red-shouldered auk, barn owl. Mexico, you know anything about it?
Yeah, I know it's a
Think fast.
Sorry, please, one more time again, for the last time.
Bye.
All right.
Red-shouldered auk, peregrine falcon. Would Mexico use a golden eagle? I doubt it. Eagle, golden, auk. I'm walking away.
So after all that insight about the red-shouldered hawk, you're walking away. Is that your final answer?
I don't even know. Okay.
You walk away?
I take my brother's advice. It's just a game. It was nice being here.
It was nice being here? Okay. I take that to mean you're walking away. Final answer, walk away.
Oh, if I get it, it's going to be painful. So painful.
Okay, so I've accepted. You walk away?
Okay, I will.
You walk away. That's great. You've walked away with 150,000 naira. Hey, come on. I'm telling you, 150 for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire nowadays, 150,000 naira. When you came here, you are better off 150,000 naira. It's better than a slap on the belly with a wet fish.
This is a question I should be beaten for. No, I should be beaten for this.
Okay, since we're on the subject, what would you have gone for?
Red-shouldered hawk.
Red-shouldered hawk.
If it wasn't that, it would be peregrine falcon, the red-shouldered hawk.
Actually, the answer is golden eagle.
Oh.
So you were wise to walk away.
Thank you.
I'm going to send the money by transfer to you right now.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to send the money to your Hope PSB digital account. I have your details. Okay. And I'll send 150,000 naira to that.
That's all we can take on the show today. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
It's time for ShopRite's Big Low Price Carnival. Get ready for affordable offers.
Buy 6 Vitamilk all variant soya milk at 3,499 naira 99 kobo, and whole frozen chicken twin packs at 2,499 naira 99 kobo per kilogram.
Don't miss out on these unbelievable deals and more at the Big Low Price Carnival, only at ShopRite. Join the Big Low Price Carnival, where you could win one of 150 trolley dashes when you buy any 3 or more participating products. ShopRite's Big Low Price Carnival.